I remember a time when a close friend was going through a difficult divorce. She was heartbroken, lost, and leaned on me heavily for support. I listened, offered advice, and was there for her day and night. I felt drained. I was neglecting my own needs and felt resentful. It took a toll on my well-being. This experience taught me a valuable lesson about boundaries. I realized that saying yes to everyone and everything came at a cost. My energy was depleted, and my own emotional well-being suffered. I was so busy taking care of others that I forgot to take care of myself. It was a turning point. I knew I needed to set boundaries to protect my energy and prioritize my own well-being. Boundaries are not selfish walls that we build to shut people out. They protect our energy, time, and emotional well-being. They are a way of saying yes to ourselves and what truly matters. Think of boundaries as fences around a beautiful garden. The fence isn't there to keep people out entirely. It's there to protect the delicate flowers, to provide a safe space for them to grow and thrive. By setting boundaries, we reclaim our power. We each possess a finite amount of energy. Think of it as a precious resource, like a wellspring within us. When we give our energy freely without replenishing it, we become depleted. Imagine that wellspring slowly drying up. This depletion manifests in various ways: fatigue, irritability, resentment, even physical illness. We may find ourselves feeling overwhelmed, stressed, and unable to cope with the demands of our lives. Recognizing the signs of energy drain is important. Are you constantly feeling tired even after a good night's sleep? Do you find yourself getting irritated easily? Are you neglecting your own needs to please others? These are all red flags, signaling that your boundaries need attention. It's like ignoring the fuel gauge in your car, pushing it to the limit until it sputters and stalls. When we don't set boundaries, we allow others to drain our energy reserves. For women, protecting our energy is particularly vital. We have a unique connection to our emotions, to intuition, to the rhythms of nature. This is our feminine essence, a powerful force that deserves to be nurtured and protected. Boundaries allow us to honor our feminine energy. They create space for us to connect with our intuition, to tap into our creativity, to nurture our souls. When we are depleted, we lose touch with this essence. We become disconnected from our true selves, operating from a place of stress and survival rather than joy and abundance. Feminine energy is about receiving. It's about opening ourselves to love, to abundance, to the beauty that surrounds us. But when we haven't set healthy boundaries, it becomes difficult to receive. We're so busy giving that we don't leave any space for ourselves. Imagine a beautiful vase, intricately crafted and ready to hold something precious. But if we keep it constantly filled with sand, we can't appreciate its true beauty or utilize its intended purpose. It becomes burdened, its delicate design obscured. Our energy is like that vase. When we set boundaries, it's like gently pouring out the sand, creating space for something more beautiful, more aligned with our true nature. Setting boundaries is one of the most profound acts of self-love. It's a way of honoring our worthiness, of recognizing that our time, energy, and well-being are valuable and deserve protection. Think of a woman who constantly overextends herself for others, neglecting her own needs and desires. She may believe she's being selfless, but she's actually perpetuating a cycle of self-sacrifice that leaves her depleted and unfulfilled. When she begins to set boundaries, it's a radical act of self-compassion. She's saying, I matter, my needs matter, my well-being matters. This shift in perspective is powerful, allowing her to reclaim her energy and prioritize her own needs. Setting boundaries can be challenging, especially for women who have been conditioned to be pleasers. We may worry about disappointing others, creating conflict, or appearing selfish. But true strength lies in honoring our needs and speaking our truth. Imagine a woman who has always struggled to say no. She feels obligated to say yes to every request, even when it compromises her well-being. She may feel weak or afraid to assert herself. However, when she begins to set boundaries, she discovers a wellspring of inner strength she never knew she possessed. She learns to communicate her needs clearly and confidently, without apology or self-doubt. This newfound strength empowers her in all areas of her life. Let's talk about Avril. Avril always put others before herself. She was the yes woman, the shoulder to cry on. This constant giving took a toll. Avril found herself exhausted, her own dreams on the back burner. She felt like a stretched-out rubber band, moments from snapping. One day, Avril confessed to feeling drained. She realized she had to make a change. Avril began setting boundaries, politely declining requests. She rekindled her passion for painting and started saying no. Avril had more energy and joy, finally pursuing her own dreams. Her relationships improved as she showed up as her most authentic self. Meet Jessica, a passionate entrepreneur building her dream business. She found herself caught in a whirlwind of emails, calls, and demands on her time. She loved her work, but was burning the candle at both ends. Jessica decided to set boundaries around her work hours. She designated times for emails and calls and allowed herself evenings and weekends to recharge. By establishing clear boundaries, Jessica reclaimed her time and energy. Her creativity soared, and she rediscovered the joy in her entrepreneurial journey. The boundaries of self-care. Imagine a single mother, let's call her Annie, juggling work, children, and household responsibilities. Feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders, Annie neglected her own well-being. Self-care felt like a luxury she couldn't afford. Constantly exhausted and feeling overwhelmed, Annie realized she couldn't pour from an empty cup. She deserved care and attention too. She began setting aside small pockets of time for herself, even if it was just 15 minutes a day. During this time, she would read, meditate, or simply enjoy a cup of tea in silence. These moments of self-care, although brief, were like tiny oases in her hectic day. They allowed her to recharge, reconnect with herself, and return to her responsibilities with renewed energy and patience. Identifying your needs. Setting boundaries begins with self-awareness. Take some time to reflect on your values, your priorities, and the things that drain your energy. What are your non-negotiables? What are you no longer willing to tolerate? Think about the areas of your life where you feel depleted or resentful. Is it a demanding friend, a chaotic work environment, or unrealistic expectations you place on yourself? These are the areas where boundaries are needed most. Journaling can be a powerful tool for self-discovery. Write down your thoughts and feelings about the situations that drain you. What boundaries would help you feel more empowered and at peace? Remember, your needs are valid. It's not selfish to want to protect your energy and well-being. In fact, it's essential for living a fulfilling and authentic life. One of the most important words in the language of boundaries is no. Learning to say no gracefully and assertively is crucial for protecting your energy and honoring your commitments. Start small. If you're used to saying yes to everything, begin by declining requests that don't feel right or that you know you don't have the bandwidth for. You don't need to over-explain or apologize. It's okay to say, "Thank you for thinking of me, but I'm unable to commit to that right now." Or simply, "No, that doesn't work for me." The more you practice, the easier it becomes. Remember, every time you say no to something that doesn't align with your values or priorities, you're saying yes to something that does. You're creating space for the things that truly matter. Setting boundaries is a continuous process, not a one-time event. It takes practice, patience, and a willingness to assert your needs, even when it's uncomfortable. Be prepared for pushback. Not everyone will be happy with your newfound boundaries, especially those who are used to you saying yes all the time. Stand firm in your decisions, even if others try to guilt you or make you feel bad. Communicate your boundaries clearly and respectfully. Let people know what you are and are not willing to tolerate. Be consistent in your actions. If you give in every time someone pushes back, you're sending the message that your boundaries are flexible. Remember, setting boundaries is a way of taking care of yourself and honoring your worthiness. Setting boundaries is not about shutting people out or becoming an island. It's about creating healthy, sustainable relationships built on mutual respect and understanding. When you set boundaries, you're not only honoring your own needs, but also teaching others how to treat you. Imagine a world where women everywhere embrace the power of boundaries. Women who are no longer afraid to say no, to prioritize their well-being, to honor their feminine essence. Women who radiate confidence, authenticity, and joy. This is the world I envision, a world where women are empowered to live lives that are true to themselves, lives that are filled with purpose, passion, and deep fulfillment. And it all begins with setting boundaries. You deserve a life that lights you up, a life that fills you with joy, a life that allows you to share your unique gifts with the world. But you can't live that life if you're constantly depleted, overwhelmed, and disconnected from your true self. Setting boundaries is not a selfish act. It's an act of self-preservation, of self-love, of honoring the precious gift of your energy and your feminine essence. It's about creating space for yourself to thrive. So I invite you to embrace the power of boundaries. Start small, be consistent, and trust that you are worthy of setting limits and honoring your needs. As you do, you'll step into a life that is more aligned with your true self, a life that is radiant, joyful, and deeply fulfilling, a life that is truly yours to live.